It's my favorite show, y'all!
Back to another deep dive!
I'm not even mad that we get a Michael Damian intro. We've got a new season, which means our gang is starting the 10th grade. As our first episode of the new school year, why not start with some good old Zack versus Slater action? What's the occasion this time, boys?
Next week is a prom and you've got to choose between us.
Right.
Okay, new season. Coming out swinging. Nice. Slater has a solid argument as to why Kelly should pick him.
Why would she want to go with a boy when she can go with a gladiator?
Yeah, we know Slater's a gladiator. It wouldn't be a stretch to see him alongside some of the American Gladiators, a real show airing at the same time that featured muscle people named Gemini, Blaze, and Laser. I always thought a good name for me would be Sergio.
Is that why you learned Photoshop?
This is why I don't want you in here when I'm making my special videos!
The show has updated Zack's look to match the preppy nickname, but this isn't enough to sway Kelly.
Listen, I'll give you my answer in the morning, okay?
Kelly delaying her decision? We really are playing the classic hits. And why stop there? Zack uses a back sign. We love signs placed on other people's backs. Especially this one, which Zack appropriated from the Dare slogan. Yeah, that'll win Kelly's heart. That night, Kelly dreams her way to a decision. There to help her is Heraldo Screech. Back in the day, Heraldo Rivera had his own trashy daytime talk show before becoming a news correspondent. And for those of you wondering, that is not the same hairpiece used by Robin Screech. During a hunk-off, the boys sport evening wear. Zack channels his Friars Club Seinfeld, while Slater goes all Miami Vice. In the end, as part of her subconscious dreaming, Kelly chooses Slater. But then she sees Zack.
I'll always love Kelly. I just want her to be happy.
Whew, hot girl problems. The next morning, Lisa asks if Kelly's picked her prom date. Whoa, settle down everyone. A little creepy.
I'm going with Zack.
Oh, shit, why? Oh, what does Zack have that I don't have? Oh.
Do you want to rethink this, Kel?
Zack, hold it together. You are Zack. Wait. I am Zack.
Let's go to the prom!
Yes! Zack and Kelly forever! Then Screech tries his own luck.
I'll go with you when worms have ears.
Boom! Screech's voice is getting lower.
You're awakening.
Now, it took me a minute to figure out Screech's shirt. I was able to find a replica online, and it is a spoof of the Pep Boys logo. But instead of featuring automotive parts brothers Manny, Mo, and Jack, the Pop Boys are pop artists Andy Warhol, Roy Lichtenstein, and Claes Oldenburg. Screech's wardrobe gets another nod from me. In the Max, there is no Max. I didn't even notice that he was missing from the opening titles, because who sits through stupid Michael Damian's version? We learn that Screech has glued ears to worms, so now Lisa has to go to the prom with him. Hard no. Screech proposes they at least try a date, and if it sucks, Screech will never bother her again. Lisa agrees. Just real quick, is something covering the camera lens here? Over at Kelly's house, her dad comes in and gets her all hyped about the prom. And then he tells her he lost his job. This obviously sucks, and Kelly chooses to ditch the prom and gives her dress money to her dad. Does Kelly ever do anything selfishly?
You sure you're all right about this?
Positive. Have I ever lied to you, Daddy?
Never.
How would you know? Isn't that the point of lying?
It's the first time I ever lied to my father.
Whew. Poor hot girl problems. In all seriousness, Tiffany Amber Thiessen does an excellent job portraying the weight of the sacrifice. It's the next day. Kelly tells the girls about her dad and how she's skipping out on the prom. She tries to tell Zack, but he does that thing where he interrupts her and talks all excited like about the prom, and Kelly does that thing where she loses her nerve and says nothing. You know, classic sitcom buffoonery. Alright, so hear me out. Prom is in 1 week, and Belding is just now planning for it. And what happens when you plan last minute? Odd music choices.
He wants lambada.
She wants protest music.
The people say protest songs, try and stop the soldiers gun.
I'm sure there's a compromise somewhere between Dirty Dancing and the best of Nelson Mandela.
Woof. Even Belding knew that was bad. What else happens when you plan last minute? Alan Fairbanks commits to only having cake served. Now, we have a lot to unpack here. First, Alan isn't fat, so his consistent food jokes don't quite land.
When do we eat?
Either way, Zack comes off as a massive jerk in this scene.
Stop with the fat jokes or I'll sit on you.
Ooh, this is getting heavy. Man, you're gonna have to grease the doorway to get home, Alan.
Alan?
Why isn't Belding reprimanding Zack? We also learned that this guy's name is Robert. But didn't we see him as Jeff in the Zack tapes?
Are we just randomly doling out character names in the show now? Is there no consistency? I mean, why would...
Wait a minute. Let me check my notes for something. Oh, that's right. The gimmick in the Zack tapes was that people gave their hearts to the person they wanted to go to the dance with. Maybe Robert accepted Jeff's heart. Huh. Well, that revelation kind of downplays the fact that we can see the top of the set here. The last thing to note from this scene is that Jesse and Slater trade their typical feminist, chauvinist barbs, which then plays into the next scene.
Oh, you need to set up for a dance in the hallway? Let's just move those effing lockers!
Don't call me baby, Bubba.
Are you guys still fighting?
That's what we do best.
Well, that and awkwardly dance to 80s instrumentals.
You know we haven't fought for 15 seconds?
It was 20, shut up.
And then they kinda, sorta, maybe ask each other out to the prom. Yeah! And I hate to nitpick, but the top of your set is showing again. Remember Screech and Lisa's date? Well, she's not really giving him much of a chance. But then, boom! Screech shows up with popcorn, malt balls, and sodas. And the dude gets some shoulder action. Aw, shut up, Dustin Diamond. But then Lisa exhibits one of her quirks by asking unending questions during the movie.
Are you sure Matt Dillon's not in this movie?
Yes, Alan Thicke is the zombie. Everybody knows that.
And just like that, boom! Screech is done.
Wait a minute. You're not supposed to dump me. I'm supposed to dump you.
That whole thing was surprising. Even more so, Jesse and Slater are having a great time. But the biggest surprise of all...
I can't go to the prom with you.
Well, don't just sit there. Follow her and get more details.
Since Zack isn't moving, I'll just quickly throw out there that the theater seats are actually the chairs used by the audience during taping. They pre-recorded this part and filled the seats with the background actors. Hi, Robert! And someone who's not Jeff?
Unless we're talking about Jeff the Girl from the Ska Punk Legends 5 Iron Frenzy.
So Zack's not taking being dumped very well.
Don't let them see.
Slater informs Zack about Kelly's dad and her predicament, and Zack suddenly sees why Kelly is too embarrassed to talk to him. So it's the night of the prom, and Kelly's dad thanks her again for her sacrifice.
I think I'm gonna cry.
Oh, don't do that. there's a boy here to see you, and he's going to be very, very sweet.
I'm sorry I ruined your night.
It would be ruined if I went with someone else.
I think I'm gonna cry.
Now don't do that. Zack wants you to join him on a walk. Inside the prom, a few things get wrapped up. We see that Alan effing loves cake. We also see Screech reprise his role as a DJ, since he and Lisa don't work out. And Jesse and Slater cut a super mean rug. Okay, we get it. You can dance. But can you get a slice of cake from Alan?
Have some peanuts.
Why does he have pocket peanuts? Just outside, Zack and Kelly's walk is over.
What is all this?
It's a prom picnic.
You're crazy.
Only about you.
I've got to admit, Zack is killing it here.
Zack, I don't know how to thank you.
Don't. Just close your eyes.
I would have normally jumped in to remind Kelly of the last time Zack said to close her eyes, but again, he's killing it tonight.
A corsage! It's beautiful. I think I'm gonna cry.
We're getting an awful lot of mileage out of that line. Prom is winding down, and Screech announces last call.
Here's the last dance. Make it magic. Or the Screech Man takes you home.
That's a nice little Easter egg from back in the Good Morning Miss Bliss days.
So lead her by the hand out to the dance floor and let Mylo take you home.
Outside, things continue to go very well. Very, very well. It should go without saying that this is a fantastic episode. The new season starts off with a bang in getting Zack and Kelly together, as well as Slater and Jesse. And you can tell that the producers wanted to add a little meat to the formula, as Kelly's storyline about her dad losing his job is far more relatable than, say, Lisa having to sell clothes to pay for the clothes she bought. It also seems that the lighting and video quality are better, and that we're seeing new angles being used. I do have two gripes, however. First, isn't the prom at the end of the school year? Why is it being featured in the first episode? It's not a production issue, as this episode was the second produced for the season. This thing was written and produced with an early airing in mind. But then again, the prom is a great setup for getting these couples together to start the season, so we can let it slide. My second gripe relates to Kelly's family. Last season, we heard this factoid.
I could be in the Kapowski spotlight for once. I mean, with 7 kids in the family, it's not often you get to feel special.
7 kids? Was Kelly's family 80s style Mormons? So 7 kids and 2 parents in 9th grade. But then in 10th grade...
There are 7 other people in this house besides me.
So that's just 8. Who's missing? Kelly's mom is referenced in this episode, so did one of the kids die? This is an incredibly unnerving continuity issue. John Mansfield played Kelly's dad, Frank Kapowski. His early career included plenty of recurring characters in soap operas, like One Life to Live, Days of Our Lives, and Santa Barbara. That last one, he played both a Dr. Reston and a Dr. Ballard. Was it an evil twin clone thing? His work was primarily in television, but he did have roles in the movies Space Marines and Forbidden Sins. Well, you know what Forbidden Sins are. They're like regular sins, only these are the kind that are, forbidden.
You know we haven't fought for 15 seconds?
It was 20, shut up.